Yo, yo. Oh, okay, you're requesting a live. Hold up. What's poppin'? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am blessed. I'm blessed. So, yeah, this is just gonna be a casual little
Yes.
conversation. It's gonna be recorded. I'm gonna post it afterwards. You know what I'm saying, for the people that will watch it afterwards. But yeah. So just to start off, how you doing?
I'm well. I'm actually, what the funny thing is, I'm actually at a shoot right now. So one of the reasons why I wanted to be debt free was so that I could do like the creative stuff that I like because I love to dance and sing and act. And so we're
Yeah.
actually shooting. I'm in an African dance drum and dance group, and so we're actually shooting. So I was like, let me come over here. I'm looking real African fashion today. So I'm good.
Okay,
How
dope,
are
dope.
you?
Just I'm blessed. I'm blessed, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Just to reset the room, like you know how they say on Clubhouse. This is a post live interview with Jacent's Gems. I dropped her information down below. Make sure y'all go follow her. Her episode drops on Monday, February 15th at noon EST. And right now we're just having a casual conversation, just to put a face behind the interview. So if y'all got questions, definitely type them down below. I'll be asking her questions. If y'all got questions, ask her as well. So I just want to start off. Have you had any big wins this week? Any small wins? Anything? Let's put good energy out for the people.
Yeah, there's always I can always look for a win. I'm really optimistic. But this week in particular, today actually started my Profitable Business Builders Mastermind. So we had our orientation today, and I'm just super excited to help other Black women start their businesses, profitable businesses. Okay. So that is probably my biggest win today, just because it happened today. But I can always look for something to celebrate. And I'm just, with everything going on, glad to be able to keep waking up, be able to keep doing what I love and learn from other people that are doing good stuff like you. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. I'm just trying to keep up with you. Congratulations, though, for sure.
Thank
So
you.
that's dope. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, how does it feel being debt free? Let the people know. For those of us that are on our journey still towards debt freedom, how does it actually feel?
Honestly, it's better than you think it is, even. It's really nice. It's really nice to be able. Actually, I literally was talking to someone this morning, the Profitable Business Builders. She just
Mm.
became debt free in December. And
Oh,
she
nice.
said, and she's not working right now. Like, being debt free has made it so that yes, I'm not working, but that if she was in debt, she would be like had to be like what is it called, committed, if she was in debt, while she's in this season. And so it really just changes your energy, it changes your focus and the way that you see the world and walk in it. And it's so nice to be able to not be kind of like moved by money to some extent. So I bills are paid, like I don't owe anybody. Anything that I'm doing is what I choose to do. And so it's really just nice to be able to do what I want. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's really hard to become debt free. Anyone who's on a debt free journey, unless they just have money, like, I don't know, sent to them or somebody else is paying off their debt, like works really hard and sacrifices to be able to call themselves debt free. And it's a journey. So once you finish that journey and hit that mile mark, that milestone, it really does just, I don't know, it's like a weight is lifted and you are able to just celebrate on a daily basis. Like I literally every single day am so glad that I'm debt free.
You're definitely amazing. So just to get into your episode, so your episode drops on Monday. You said something really interesting during the episode. You mentioned that your personal finance journey is like your personal development journey. Can you expound on that a little bit for us?
Yeah, because regardless of the outcomes, right? It's not outcome based, but you're going to have to stretch, you're going to have to grow, you're going to have to face yourself, your fears, your limiting beliefs in the process of getting in control of your money. So, what I didn't realize until I got on my debt free journey was that I was an emotional eater. So if something were to happen, let's say I have a fight with my ex or whatever, or my something didn't go right at work, that I would stop at Jack in the Box on the way home and get me some mini churros. That wasn't an issue per se, but when I recognized that I had already grocery shopped for the week, I had a plan for what I was going to eat at home and whatnot. Then when that came up, that feeling of, oh, I want to go to Jack in the Box, but I tell myself no, because one, you have food that's also healthier than what you're going to get. Then there's a thing that's coming up. And so it's definitely a personal growth and personal finance journey at the same time, because you're going to recognize things that you didn't even know were there, and it's going to be an interesting thing to face yourself and what comes up for you. So they go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other.
I love that. That's amazing. That's amazing. So I always like to understand, people's money background, because I think that's definitely important when we talk about how you paid off damn near 100,000 in 3 years. So what would you say is your relationship with money?
Yeah, before I was neglectful, okay? I was avoidant, and now I pay attention, and money is my best friend, energetically, because I'm aligned. So I don't really care for the money per se. Like, I hate it or anything, but the money does what I tell it to do. So my relationship with money is that before, my finances were in control of me, right? My debt was in control of me, and now I'm in control of my money. So it's a much healthier relationship. We have boundaries. You know what I mean? Like we communicate clearly. Like it really is like a relationship. And so it's much more healthy. Before it was toxic to some extent. And so now I'm glad to be able to say it's not perfect, but we're a work in progress. We went to therapy and everything. We got counseling. And my relationship with money is much better than it used to be.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So they extended, the whole student loan thing, no interest until October 1st or something like that. So let's say you still have student loans. You don't, so we're not going to speak that into existence. But hypothetically, if you did, what would you be doing now and then? Would you pay it off? Would you just save the money? Would you invest a certain amount? Like, what would be your move?
Right. So personally, I was paying off debt when they had that the interest kind of frozen. So I was paying off my debt more aggressively when they did that. However, I had a stable work situation. So my work situation was stable. So I was not concerned that my income would change. And I was hyper focused on making sure I hit my goal. So personally, if my income is stable, I know it's not going anywhere, I have some level of an emergency fund, and that's my priority, is to become debt free. That's what I would choose to do, is to pay down the debt while there is no interest, because you're able to kind of make a bigger dent. But everyone's situation is different. So what I would do might be different than what someone else would do. But it has to be in line with what your goals are, and I don't know, essentially help you to make progress toward that goal.
Okay, so I definitely appreciate that. So the people are going to get the gems in the episode, but let's just get straight to it. How did you pay off your student loan debt?
So I read the book Smart Money Woman, and it forced me to change my mindset around money to some extent. So she's a Nigerian woman who wrote the book, and so it's really charismatic. I'm first generation. It really kind of resonated with me, and she had us calculate our net worth, and my net worth was negative $70,000, and I was like, oh, really? That's crazy. And so then I was like, I have to do something about this. So I made a decision. And I think a lot of the times people are waiting for their reality to match what they want, when you have to decide so that you can make a plan for your reality to match what you want. So I started with the decision in saying I'm going to be debt free. And then I said, when would it be nice to be debt free? And I was like, it'd be nice to pay off my debt by 30. You know what I mean? Get to live my best life for the rest of my life after 30. And so it really just came from a genuine desire. And I think that's where the best manifestations lie. Let me know if you can hear the drums, because they're still drumming over there.
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
So essentially, I made the decision, and I said, okay, I made the deadline for myself. And then I said, oh, what is it that I'm missing let me look at my budget. Do I make enough money right now if I'm budgeting right to hit my goal? If that's a yes, cool, follow through with the budget. If that's a no, for me, it was a no, okay? I needed to increase my income. So I had a budget issue and an income issue. I had to manage my money more efficiently and I had to make more money. And so that's what I got to work doing, was budgeting really efficiently from March 2017 to now. I've been making a monthly budget every month. And then increasing my income took some time. So that's not something that necessarily happens overnight, significantly, because I ended up tripling my income. So I spent maybe like March to August applying for jobs. So it took me a few months to find an additional full-time job that would be able to essentially be the right schedule, the right pay, and all of that stuff for me to hit my goal. Once I got those things in place, the budget, the income, it's consistency and the discipline. So for 3 years, I went to work. Like, that's how you pay your debt off. You go to work. Unless you're winning the lotto, you have a rich uncle or something like that. I went to work, I put in the hours, you know what I mean? And made the payments off top. So what I said was, if I need to pay $2,000 on my debt a month, that when I got paid, I took that off. It's like tithing is what like the same thing as tithing. Take it off the top, and I'm going to have to make the rest of this work. So if I made, you know, $4,000 in a month, then I take that $2K out, and then I have the $2K to live on. But I did, you know, before that, kind of really get serious about my budget to make sure that I could make it happen. It would fluctuate. So some months I would pay more. Some months there was a few months that I paid nothing on my debt when I was in Uganda. And then when I came back, because I had left a job that I was at. But then, because what happens is that when you make the decision and you work consistently toward it, I promise you, whatever you believe in, right? Like, God, the universe steps in to match your investment. So when you say you're going to get out of debt and you start doing things, you start making a budget, you start going to work, you start asking for extra hours and trying to figure it out, the universe is like, oh, you're serious. Let me help you, because God only wants good for you. You know what I mean? Like, the universe only wants good for you. So, I mean, I did get in a car accident. I have to get another car. Like, it wasn't perfect. There were things that happened. But overall, what I experienced is really difficult to define and kind of describe, other than kind of like, there was me, but there's also like divine intervention occurring at the same time.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. I want to invite everyone in the live. If y'all got questions, you can ask Jacent. Just drop them below. We're going to be here for a total of 30 minutes. So we got about 17 minutes left. But about your story, I wanted to touch base on the fact that you read that book and you got a negative net worth, which is probably, you know, very humbling. And then on top of that, you had to realize, like, oh, dang, I need to actually budget. I need to increase my income. How did all of these things make you feel? Because I feel like it's like a barrage of punches just coming at you.
Yeah. And that's why I say it's a personal growth journey. Because then you have to look at yourself and say, there were times where I was like, what was I doing? Like, what did I do from 2012 or 2013 to 2016, when I started to get out of debt? I was like, what was I doing for those years? I was almost mad at myself to some extent. Like, what were you thinking? Like, how could you have gotten yourself in this situation? So I'm not exempt from that stuff having come up. And that's where that personal growth piece comes in, because you have to recognize, like, what is it that actually serves you in your ability to make progress, and then what do you need to kind of like recognize and then move on from. Because I could have essentially been so mad at myself from being $70,000 in debt that I could have gone into more debt. Like, I could have gone into despair and been like, well, you know, forget it. Like, nothing's ever going to work. I'm never going to be able to get out of this hole. You know, I guess this is just my situation. And I could have just allowed that to be what took over. But that's where the personal growth piece comes in, where you have to say, all right, I'm a big girl, like, I'm an adult. I made these choices as far as having chosen to take out the loans. It wasn't, no one drugged me. Like, I was fully awake and aware. I wasn't wise. I wasn't knowledgeable about it. And no one, you know, gave me the education. But taking responsibility is a big girl thing to do. It's a big boy thing to do, right? That's personal growth. So I'm the one that took these loans out, and I can choose. Now, everyone has their own ideas and feelings and all of that, right? I can choose to wait to see if something happens as far as like student loan forgiveness. And each person is on their own path. No judgment, no guilt, no shame. But for me personally, right, I feel like, and I recognize, like, even the language we use around student loans is toxic and kind of like weaponized, right? So it's called student loan forgiveness, which essentially implies that like we did something wrong. I didn't do anything. I'm being forgiven, right? Like I'm being forgiven for something, and I didn't do anything wrong. So that whole context of things for me doesn't sit well to kind of play by the government's rules when the government ain't got it together in the first place. So I'm gonna take control of my situation the best way that I know how. And if I didn't become debt free in 3 years, if it took me 4 years, if it took me 5 or 7, like, okay, whatever. But I think it was really just me getting in the driver's seat of my life instead of debt being in the driver's seat. So, yeah, essentially that's what happened. And you have to choose. Like you get to a place in your life where you're at a crossroads. You can choose the same mindset, the same path that's leading you down somewhere, and you can see where it's taking you, you know, or you can choose a different path and take a chance on yourself and see what happens. And down that pathway of uncertainty, you don't know what's going to happen. But when you keep going down the debt road, you know that debt is at the end of the road. Like it's 100%. If you go down, well, let me try. Well, I'd like to be debt free. Let me give it a shot and see what happens. There's possibility. Like you're in the land of possibility at that point. And so I recognized that's where I wanted to be. And it was not easy, okay? I'm not going to sit here and make it sound like it was, okay? I say it all the time. I was in my mid-20s in Las Vegas. All my friends were at the pool at Encore Beach Club, living it up, and I was at work. So it was not easy, but it was what I felt necessary for me to now in 2021, even though I can't really do much, go anywhere. But now it's like I can say yes on a whole new level. You want to go to Croatia? Boom, let me book my flight. Like, let's go to Croatia, debt free. You know what I mean? We're going to Bali? Okay, cool. Like, let me book my trip. And there's no, like, I don't have to rearrange accounts and all of that stuff. So I said no temporarily so I could say yes on a grander scale.
Amazing. And yeah, I always say that no means next opportunity. So you definitely set yourself up there.